Good morning. It's Margaret here on podcast launch day. Very, very exciting. I have been wanting to launch this podcast for a few years now. And I got stuck on a few things, just wasn't a priority, obviously. We do the things that we want to do, right? We make the time for the things that we want to make time for. So I can honestly say in the last few months, I hunkered down and I did it. And I am so glad I did. It has been such a fun project. And if you could just hold on one moment while I share this. Okay, great. So, yes, this has been a long time coming, so I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to have thought of having a party, an online party. The reason I did this is because I wanted to make a big deal about it. I mean, it is a big deal. I obviously waited so long, and there was a lot of moving parts and a lot of thought that went into this. And at the beginning of the year, I sat down with my friend Monica, who said, just do it. We were talking about our goals, and I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So anyway, I'm so happy to be here. We have prizes. We have just a day of, I think, 5 Facebook Lives that I scheduled out to do with different topics. And part of today is going to be me giving away thank you gifts, really, is how I'm seeing them, for the activities that I'm going to want you to do. If you click the link in this Facebook Live, you will see a link to a post on our business Socialize LA Facebook page. And on that link, you're going to see 2 links, one to iTunes and one to Google Play. And if you're an iPhone user or an iTunes user, I would really appreciate if you would go to the podcast link, subscribe to the channel, download an episode or 2 or 3, and listen. And if you love it, I would love for you to rate and review the channel. It would certainly mean a lot. Here's what it looks like. I've already downloaded it. Wait, what am I? Oh, so am I not? That's interesting. Okay. So here you go. And you just hit subscribe and rate. Right now, there are 3 ratings. So this has been unofficially launched for a few weeks. There are 3 ratings, all 5 stars. Thank you, whoever did that. And so I would love your support in making that number grow. And then the same thing on Google Play. I do not have a Android, so I don't have Google Play, but I would assume it works the exact same way. I actually played on it a little bit. So if you do all 3 of those, if you subscribe, you review, and you rate the channel, just go down to the comments and say ×3, and I will enter you to win the prizes. I have Amazon gift cards, I have Target gift cards, and then I have an Erin Condren surprise box, spring surprise box. So gentlemen, you might say, I do not want the Erin Condren. So if you win that, I will definitely give you something else, or you can always give it as a gift. Okay? So here we are, and this morning I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why I started this podcast. I know we'll get into that a little bit later as well, but So a little bit about me and about the company and kind of how we started. I think that's actually where I wanted to start now that I'm thinking about it. And I don't have my notes in front of me, so this is all going off the cuff. So I started my company in 2009, okay? 2009 is when I started this. And I was living in New York. I was very unhappy in my job. So yeah, that's a known thing. I've said that a lot to people. So any of my coworkers from that last job, if you're seeing this, it was not you. You were wonderful. It was the job. I was feeling super unfulfilled, and I was pretty young and just thinking about my future and what I was going to do. And I thought, you know what? I see consultants coming in and out of this building, and the owners and the VPs, they all just take their advice and they think they're, the best thing ever. So I decided that I was going to be a consultant. And I thought it was going to be just like what I saw at my at the company. I was going to, people were going to respect me, and it was going to be lovely and awesome. Well, it obviously did not work out exactly like that. There was a long, long road of figuring out how to position myself, what services to offer, and all of that. So, and if you're watching, remember to click the link in the description because you'll see what this is all about. This is a podcast launch where we are subscribing, rating, reviewing the Flex Your Influence podcast on iTunes or Google Play, and you're entering to win. So if you click the link, you'll be able to do all of that stuff. So anyway, just going back to the road. So it was a very long road. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to need you to hold on just one moment while I go get my computer charger. Okay, I am back. Perfect. Okay, so back to that. So yes, this is a podcast launch. So take a look at the link in the description and you'll see the contest that's going on. But I'm going to go back to the story of how I got started on this crazy journey. So yes, I moved back from New York to California. And if you know me, you know that I loved New York. I love New York. I love the lifestyle. I love the weather. Even in the summer, I don't mind it. I just love everything about it. But when I came home, I realized that starting my business was going to be a lot harder than I ever imagined. I looked for resources, and I found the Inland Empire Women's Business Center. And a lot of you have heard this story or have heard a version of it, but I thought it would be a great way to start this morning and to start the podcast launch contest. I met Nicole Kinney at the Corona Public Library, and she said, I have a really good memory, everyone. I have a very good memory. So if I say something happened the way it did, you could probably bet that I might be right. But I remember she said, don't be a stranger. She said, utilize our services. And that night, I still have the email. That night, I emailed her from my old Gmail account. And I said, I'd love to take you up on your offer. What do I need to do? So the Inland Empire Women's Business Center is basically they offer free services to people starting their own business. They don't turn men away. It is an SBA program, and it is phenomenal. And really, it is exactly what I needed and how I got my company launched. Had it not been for them, Michelle Skilgen, Nicole Kinney, and that whole team, I don't know if I would have ever got my company off the ground. But anyway, going through that process, there were a lot of hurdles, a lot of bumps, a lot of no's, a lot of failure. Everywhere I turned, really. I lived with my grandma, and my grandma would say, you have a meeting today? And I would say, yeah, I have a meeting today. She's like, is it a networking meeting or a sales meeting? My grandma learned that there was a difference between networking and meeting people or sitting down with someone who was considering hiring you. And my grandma had every right to be asking me those questions because her and my mom were supporting me 100% financially. So, it's just really funny to think about that. My grandma would give me her Kohl's cash that she would get because she loved to shop at Kohl's, and she would say, go buy yourself something, and just always making sure that I was taken care of. And so what was going through my head at that moment was, and in those moments, was obviously I never wanted to be a burden on my mom or my grandma or my aunt or my sisters or my dad, anyone in my family. And then around this time I also met Brian, and who is my husband. We're going to celebrate 7 years. But I didn't want to be a burden. I've never wanted to do that. And it was a very difficult place to not be earning your own income. But to also have this gut feeling that don't stop. Also during this time, 2009, 2010, I took a drastic change in my life. And found myself in a place where I knew that I wanted to be a Christian, and God had just completely taken over my life. And I know this is my business page, and I don't want to offend anybody. I really love you all, but it's important that you know where my heart is and where I come from. And really this guides me in everything that I do. And my goal is to provide excellence to anybody who does any business with us. So anyway, with that change came a whole new set of priorities and just where I wanted my life to go. And it was awesome. It really was awesome. It was a turning point in my life. My business still was, it was just I just knew that I knew I should keep doing what I was doing. And I did. And there was a huge turning point when the Inland Empire Women's Business Center had offered a program. It was like a 6-week program, and after the 6 weeks, if you completed it successfully, you received $250, I believe, from Citibank to put towards marketing. And I knew that at this point I was ready to join a chamber of commerce. And I Googled the best chamber of commerce in Southern California, and I told myself that I would drive 40 to 50 miles to get to a chamber of commerce that I would love, that would embrace me, and that I would get involved in. And that's when I found Pasadena. And it was really cool that it was Pasadena because in this time, Brian and I started spending a lot of time together. And a lot of the time we would spend together was in Pasadena. He's in asphalt and concrete, and a lot of his jobs were there. So we would drive there, look at parking lots, go out to eat, and just hang out in Pasadena. So it was very fitting when the Pasadena Chamber was the one I landed on, and I was a member with them for 4 or 5 years. And I met amazing people and built some really great relationships. And yeah, that's how I landed in Pasadena. And so I took that program, I got the stipend, and then that happened. So next turning point was it was like 2011. And I was at the Pasadena Chamber. No, I was at a friend's gym from the Pasadena Chamber. And one of the ladies who was working out with me, she's asking me what I do. And I was telling her, and she said, "Oh, wow, you need to join NAWBO." What a turning point, right? You need to join NAWBO. I said, "Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of NAWBO." I had heard of NAWBO, but I had never really participated. And there was an event in Pasadena, and I went. I met Deb Snyder, who a lot of you know, and her and I talked about membership, and I gave her some, just my situation and where I was, and Deb was able to help me to figure out how to get a membership. And my mom actually paid for my first year membership. And so I was able to join, and Deb said, if you're going to join, you need to get involved. And so I joined the membership committee. And that's it. I mean, that was the best advice, is rather to not just join and be another member on a roster, but to get involved. And that was the key piece. So I just dove head first, right? That next year, when was Miami? Shoot, I'm sorry, I did the math. I don't know if Miami was in 2011 or 2012, but either way, I remember seeing an email that said, "Come to the Women's Business Conference," like the annual national conference. And I said, I gotta go. And I remember Brian said, "Well, Margaret, what are you gonna get out of going to the conference?" And I said, "I don't know, Brian. I really don't. I'm just gonna go and see what happens." And so I did. And that changed my whole outlook of NAWBO, and I saw how great it was and how big it was. And I met so many amazing people. And I just was in awe of all the powerful women, and just people from all different backgrounds and walks of life. And I was just blown away. And so at that point, I continued to be a part of NAWBO, and that's really where I've put my efforts. Obviously, in the last 6, 7 years, 8 years. And it's because I only have so much time. I think the chambers are awesome. But for me, in my position right now, I can only do so much. And so I am a NAWBO LA member. I am the chair of the membership committee. So if you're in the area and you're looking to join a committee or a group, I invite you to be a part of it. We are going to have a lot of fun. We're going to celebrate each other. We are going to push each other in a great way, in a positive way. And if you are looking to join NAWBO and you're not in my area, I know that I can connect you to someone. I can go anywhere in this country, and I have friends. I can go, there's even places in the world that I can go that I have friends because of NAWBO. So let's do this. If you are interested, I do want to to invite you and I want to support you. And let's see, what else would you like to know? I think sometimes when I've been told, and so I'm going to address it, that business ownership is fun. It's fun. It's like a fun day all the time, and that's not really it. I think a lot of business owners, though, we know what the benefits are of the path that we've chose. And so we definitely, we balanced out the pros and the cons. Now, when I started, I didn't have a whole lot of other responsibilities. So I was able to have those hard years without, without too much damage. But I know I have a friend who recently decided that she was not going to continue with her business. And of course, you respect someone's decisions. Everybody's different. But one main thing is that I wanted to remind her that this road was never going to be easy. I mean, if you start your business the way I did with, a little bit of money, a whole lot of heart, and guidance from an IEWBC, then you'll be good. And you have something that people want, you'll be good, but there's still a learning curve. And so when things look from the outside like everything is fun, you're traveling, you're doing all these things, you're going all these places, those are the great moments. But there's also the moments where, Socialize LA is now a team of 10. That means 10 people, including myself, rely on me for, not on me necessarily, but as a team, but I'm at the helm of it. They rely on a paycheck. That is a big responsibility. So nobody really wants that big of a responsibility. So you have to see that there's two sides of the coin. And so when things look like they're a lot of fun and, having a blast, you have to remember that there's definitely a business side of it all and a very serious side of it all. And for me, I like to take myself to different places in my community to just stay creative, to stay happy, to stay in my zone. And if you've ever seen my Facebook Lives, I'm constantly talking about that, about staying motivated and staying creative and going to your happy place and whatever that means for you. So if that means going outside in your patio, that's awesome. If my patio was built out the way I see it in my brain, which hopefully by this time next year it will be, then my happy place will be my patio. But for now, I do like to go explore Disneyland and the beach, and even sometimes just sit inside of restaurants or my quiet office. But yeah. So anyway, everyone, we are about to turn down this first Facebook Live. And so I want to remind you to go to the link in the description and to subscribe to the podcast on either Apple or Google Play, and then just say that you did it in the comments, and that's it, and you will be entered to win. So I know I'm getting some text of saying I'm not going to enter to win, I just subscribed and I just want to support you. And that's fine too, but I also want you to win because I actually already bought all of these gifts. So I would rather give them away to you. I don't care if you're my family member. Oh, that's the other thing. You do not have to be a business owner to participate in this contest. That's why I did the prizes to be very unspecific on jobs. I wanted my friends and my family to participate. I actually need you. I need you to participate. This is not like, oh, if you can, that's great. No. Like, if I've never asked you for anything, I am asking you right now to participate in this challenge. If you need help, message me. I am going to be around all day long. I have a couple of appointments here and there, but I'm going to be online with you through 6 p.m. So thank you so much. And the first giveaway will be at 12:30 today. So do what you need to do. Let me know if you are having trouble, and I will help you out. I'll probably go live too on Instagram in just a few minutes just to get them going. So that is it. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day.